Shocking confrontation between Alcaraz and Fritz today. In the electric haze of San Francisco's fog-kissed night, where the bay's whispers meet the roar of a city alive with dreams, can a single, searing confrontation between two warriors, firebrand and fortress, shatter the unyielding armor of invincibility and reveal the tender core of a champion's soul? September 21st, 2025, unfolded like a script from tennis's golden annals at the Chase Center. The Laver Cup's urban coliseum pulsing with the heritage of Federer and McEnroe, now a battleground for the next era. Team Europe, guardians of continental pride, clashed against Team World in Day Two's crucible, the air thick with the scent of polished hard courts and the faint brine of the Pacific, as Carlos Alcaraz, the 22-year-old Spaniard and reigning world number one, stepped forth to defend his realm against America's Taylor Fritz, the stoic sentinel at number 5. The arena brimmed with a mosaic of souls, Europeans in scarves of azure and crimson, Americans waving stars and stripes under the golden glow of courtside lights, their faces etched with the quiet fervor of a rivalry that transcends borders. Alcaraz, fresh from U.S. Open glory and a 13-match streak unbroken, carried the weight of Europe's hopes. Fritz, 27 and unvanquished in spirit, sought his first triumph over the summit, a personal odyssey veiled in the shadow of his opponent's blaze. Please like, share, and subscribe for more sport talk content. The match ignited with the subtlety of a gathering storm, Alcaraz's joyous arsenal. Drop shots feathering like autumn leaves, forehands whipping like desert winds, testing Fritz's granite resolve. The American countered with baseline barrages, his serves booming like thunder over the bay. The crowd a living tide, rising in murmurs as the first set hung in balance at 3-3. Their applause a rhythmic heartbeat, syncing with the players' unyielding strides. Yet in the seventh game, the confrontation erupted, a blistering rally that stretched into eternity. Alcaraz lunging for a lob that kissed the baseline, only for Fritz to unleash a cross-court backhand that grazed the line, forcing the Spaniard into a desperate dive. Time fractured. Alcaraz sprawled, racket skidding across the court, his body a tangle of limbs and defiance. The arena falling into a stunned hush as he rose, eyes locked on Fritz, a firestorm of frustration flashing across his face in a glare that pierced the night. The crowd, sensing the shift, erupted not in division but in awe, a collective gasp swelling into a roar that shook the rafters, fans on their feet, some clutching rails, others whispering, "Vamos!" and "Come on, Taylor!" in a bilingual prayer. Fritz, unflinching, met the stare with a nod of steel, his own gaze steady as ancient oaks, the moment crystallizing into something primal. Two souls stripped bare, the Spaniard's vulnerability clashing against the American's quiet storm. Alcaraz, wiping sweat from his brow, muttered under his breath to his coach Juan Carlos Ferrero in the changeover. "He's not backing down, neither will I." His voice a raw thread of resolve, while Fritz confided to his corner, "That fire? It's fuel now." The exchange, caught in fragments by roaming mics, hung in the air like incense, the crowd leaning in, their cheers a thunderous veil over the unspoken pact. This was no mere point, but a portal to deeper truths. From that fracture, Fritz surged, breaking Alcaraz's serve with a forehand winner that split the court like lightning, sealing the set 6-3 amid a stadium-shaking ovation. The Spaniard, rising from his chair, forced a smile for the cameras, but his eyes betrayed the sting. A confrontation not of words, but of wills, where defeat's first whisper met defiance's roar, the arena alive with the electric hush of history tilting. The second set mirrored the first's fury. Fritz's net approaches, 16 of 20 points won, a masterclass in calculated aggression, but Alcaraz clawed back, only for a double fault in the eighth game to unravel him once more. The final score, 6-2 to Fritz, landed like a verdict from the gods. Yet it was the mid-match glare, that frozen instant of raw humanity, that defined the duel, leaving both men transformed in the forge of unyielding combat. As the lights dimmed on the Chase Center, the confrontation's embers leaped into the digital ether, X igniting with clips of Alcaraz's dive and stare down, fans flooding timelines. "That look from Carlos? Pure warrior soul," one tweeted from Madrid, amassing echoes from San Francisco to Sydney. Alcaraz-Fritz clash trended like a wildfire, each share a spark fanning the flames of a moment that blurred rivalry and revelation. Broadcasters paused their feeds to replay the sequence, voices laced with reverence. In a sport of precision, This was poetry. Fritz's poise meeting Alcaraz's passion head-on, a Tennis Channel anchor reflected, while ESPN looped the glare, captioned Eyes of Eternity. American outlets hailed Fritz's upset as a David's arrow, his first win over a reigning number. One a notch in the belt of underdog lore. The story cascaded through pubs in London and diners in Delray Beach, where fans dissected the drama over pints and plates. Carlos didn't break. He bent, and that's the mark of legends. Social media's chorus amplified the personal stakes. Alcaraz's streak snapped, Fritz's breakthrough etched, turning a Laver Cup skirmish into a saga of shared ascent. Culturally, it wove into the Laver Cup's tapestry of team spirit, echoing the event's birth in 2017 as Federer's farewell to camaraderie, where individual fire fuels collective flame. Historically, such confrontations recall Borg McEnroe's firestorms or Sampras Agassi's silent wars. But here in the Chase Center's urban embrace, Alcaraz and Fritz's clash deepened the narrative. A bridge between Europe's artistry and America's grit, where heritage meets horizon. In the Bay Area's fog-shrouded streets post-match, locals gathered under neon signs, toasting the upset. Fritz stared down the king. That's California courage. The moment layered onto tennis's global dialogue, a reminder that exhibitions, once lighthearted, now cradle the soul's deepest duels, inviting us to see in every glare the mirror of our own unspoken battles. Fans in virtual vigils dissected the dive's grace, from Tokyo streams to Toronto taverns. Alcaraz's fall wasn't defeat, it was devotion to the dream. The spread transcended metrics, becoming a cultural current that pulled the sports tribe into reflection, where a single stare down becomes parable. Vulnerability, the true victor in victory's shadow. What whispers emerge from this urban forge, where a champion's glare pierces the veil of supremacy, revealing the fragile fire that fuels us all? It murmurs of humanity's unquenchable thirst for connection, not in conquest alone, but in the raw exchange of stares that say, I see you, and I rise to meet you. In their confrontation, we glimpse sportsmanship's luminous core, Fritz's unyielding poise, a gift to Alcaraz's fervor, the Americans' win not a theft, but an invitation to evolve, where rivalry refines rather than rends. It bids us ponder. In our own arenas of ambition, do we meet the gaze of challenge with walls, or with the open heart that turns foes to fellow travelers? This moment unveils legacy's subtle weave, how a snapped streak and a searing look etch deeper than any trophy. Alcaraz's vulnerability a testament to the values that endure. Resilience as the art of rising mid-fall. Humility, the quiet crown worn in defeat's hush. It challenges the spirit to reflect on character as the court's hidden lines, drawn by glances more than ground strokes. The emotional insight cuts to the marrow, exposing redemption's dawn in confrontation's dusk. Alcaraz's dive a metaphor for life's unscripted tumbles. Fritz's response a nod to the grace that lifts us from the canvas. Here, in the arena's suspended breath, we see heritage renewed, the old world's passion yielding to the new's precision, yet carrying forward the flame of fortitude that spans seas. It speaks to the odyssey of striving souls, where such clashes coax compassion from competition, urging lives laced with elegant endurance, values like fealty to the fray, forgiveness in the frayed moments, blooming eternal against the scoreboard's fleeting script. In this Laver Cup lens, we find a mirror to our shared gaze. What if our greatest confrontations are the crucibles that clarify, not conquer, the self? As the fog rolls in over the bay, this clash invites a tender reckoning. Legacy blooms, not from unbroken reigns, but from the brave vulnerability of a stare met squarely, binding player and witness in the beautiful brevity of battles that build rather than break. In the Chase Center's quiet corridors, Alcaraz paused for the mic, his voice a velvet thread of introspection. That moment, locking eyes with Taylor, it wasn't anger, it was respect, raw and real. Losing snaps you awake, reminds you the fire burns brightest when shared, not hoarded. Fritz, towel over shoulders, reflected with a humility that softened his steel. Carlos's glare? It lit a match in me. Beating him isn't the end, it's the honor of standing toe-to-toe with greatness. Grateful for the fight, it grows you, win or wipe out. Ferrero, in a hushed aside to reporters, added paternal pride. Carlitos dove not just for the ball, but for the truth of who he is, a warrior who confronts, then conquers his doubts. That stare? It's the spark of seasons yet to unfold. Later, in a text exchanged under the arena's exit lights, Alcaraz messaged Fritz, Your poise owned the night, brother. That confrontation, fuel for the fire we both chase. Fritz replied, perspective in pixels. And your heart lit the way, Carlos. Rivals today, echoes tomorrow. As Europe's hopes flickered but endured, this confrontation became a monument to the perfect. Here's your clean retype of the script with identical wording, just cleaned for layout, spacing, and punctuation for smooth readability. No wording change.